Hey guys, so I'm going to be teaching you guys how to fix common errors, especially how to navigate your way around the Linux operating system and to see how to find out all the different databases. And if you delete a database, how come you can't connect when you do SQL Plus and you get that strange error about not finding that parameter file, right? Okay, so the first thing you want to do is if you want to see what database, how many databases you have on your server. So the first thing you want to do is just cat the etc/oratab file. Right, this will always tell you. So as you can see, we have two databases right now on the same server in the same home. Right, it's in DB home 1. So we have one that's called ORCL, and we have another one that's called test. Right. So now the next question is, when I'm connecting to the database, which database am I actually connecting to? Okay, so when I do SQL Plus /as sysdba and I do select name from v $database, it says I'm currently connected to my ORCL database. But why? If we have two databases, how does it know what database that I'm actually connecting to? So let's find out how. So you would do this. So you go into, so you cat your bash profile. You cat your bash profile, and this is under your tilde. It's very important that you got to be in your tilde in order for for you to see it. And as you can see, what's under the Oracle SID is my ORCL. Does that make sense? So that makes sense. So when I clear the screen and when I cat my etc or tab, I see ORCL. When I cat my bash profile, I see ORCL, right? So when I go to look for the SP file for the ORCL, right? I can see SP file ORCL.aura, right? And then when I go to DBCA, and I go next and I click on delete next, you can see I have ORCL there, so that makes sense. So I'm 4 for 4. So that lets me know that yes, all things in sync. The things that are supposed to be where they are there. So the DBCA shows me ORCL. My DBS directory shows me ORCL. My bash profile shows me right here. My bash profile shows me ORCL. And my etc tab also shows me ORCL. And then when I do SQL Plus /as, right? And again, when I do select name from v $database, right? That shows me ORCL. Why? Because it's whatever is in my bash profile that is set to. So this is the default databases, because right now I have two databases, which is ORCL and test. So out of these two, I've picked ORCL to be my default database, and that's the one, and I put this in my bash profile, right? So, and that's the one that I want every time I do SQL Plus /sysdba, that's the database that I want users to connect to. But now what happens when I actually delete a database? So I do so I exit out of DBS, and another way that you can, I get out of DBS and I do, let me show you another way where you can, even from SQL Plus, you can go to DBCA. You can launch a tool from SQL as long as you put a wildcard, an exclamation point in front of it. So hit next, delete database, next. Okay, so I want to delete this database ORCL, so I hit finish. Then I want to hit yes. So now what I want to show you guys is if we try to connect again, we should get an error, provided we don't have a P file. So we're going to try to delete this ORCL database right now and try to connect to the test database. And this shouldn't take long at all. Matter of fact, let's try to see if I can stop this database. I want to stop deleting right now because I want to show you guys something. Let's see how that works. Hopefully I haven't screwed anything up. So while that's stopping, what I actually want to show you guys is simply this, right? So let's increase the size of this guy. Let's increase the size of this big time. All right, so I'm going to press enter, enter, enter. And now I'm going to do what? SQL plus /s sysdba, right? So if I do select name from $, it looks kind of funny. From $, database, right? You see, because we're actually what? Currently deleting it, right? So when I hit exit, now for instance, so now let's say, so right now if I do cd and I do cat/etc or a tab, right? I still have two databases, ORCL and ORCL test. So now let's, and if I cat my bash profile, right, I'm still in ORCL mode, right? That's what I have. But now, let's say I want to leave this as my default database every time that I connect to it. So we're assuming that we have two databases. But now on the fly, I actually just want to connect to a different database, right? Which is the test database, which is the one up here. The one up here, right? And what would I do? I would simply do what? Export Oracle in caps, has to be in caps, Oracle SID to equal to test. Right, then I will do echo to see what database I'm about to actually connect to, and that tells me I'm about to connect to test. So now when I do SQL plus /s sysdba, you can see connected to. It doesn't look all funny like before. And I do select name from $, database. You can see I'm in test. And I do select open underscore mode from $, database. I'm there. If I do select name from $, data file, I'm there, right? I can see all my data files. Does that make sense? So, but now other users are still able to see the other databases, right? So every time a user tries to connect to a different database, they're still going to be able to connect to the ORCL database. But now if I wanted to permanently change my database so where users connect to the test database and not the ORCL, then I would just do what? I would cd enter, I'll be in my tilde, and I do a vi space .bash underscore profile. I press I for insert. Then I would simply come here to my Oracle SID, right, with my up and down arrows, hit the end, and I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this to test, and then I'm going to save my file, right? And then the last thing that we're going to do before I connect is I'm going to source my bash profile. So I do source.bash underscore profile, and what that does is it reads everything in this terminal right now, right? It reads everything in this terminal. But now if I open up another tab like so, and I do echo $, if I do echo $Oracle underscore SID, you see it still points to ORCL, right? So I would have to source. So I'd have to source my bash profile again, right? And then when I echo it, now it says test. Does that make sense? So now when I source my bash profile, and I do what? SQL plus /as sysdba, right? And I do select name from $, database. You can see that I'm in the test. All right, so these are some of the common things that that you're going to run into Let's see where we are in DBCA. It's still it's still acting funny, but it is what it is. But a lot of times, if say for instance I deleted this database, if I deleted this database, right? And if my database, I deleted the ORCL database, for instance, and I try to do SQL plus /sysdba, you're not going to get an error. You're going to get an error. It's going to say cannot find init orcl.aura file, parameter file, right? That's because your bash profile is still pointing to your bash profile right here. Will still be pointing to the old database, which is ORCL, right? So what you would need to do is, if you created a new database, just VI the bash profile, right? Press I for insert, and then just change this. Press I for insert, and then just change this to test, like so, like I just did, right? And then save it. Escape, Shift : WQ, and then source your bash profile, right? And then do SQL plus /sysdba, and you should not get an error, right? But to make it permanent across all the different tabs, you would just simply need to shut down and restart your entire database server. And every time you open up a new tab, you should be good to go, as far as the server actually recognizing that you actually want to start the test database. So I hope that helps, guys. The next class starts, as far as training, is May 16th. And registration has already started. You can always visit us at newwayitsolutions.com and click on the enroll button to actually enroll. All right, so we'll talk to you soon. Bye.